One thing that makes the United States stand out is its system of government. We live in a democracy, which means the country's people make the decisions. One of the ways they make decisions is by voting for their leaders. The right to vote is one of the most important rights we have. And on Tuesday, April 7th, residents in 7 different Polk County communities can exercise their right to vote in the upcoming municipal elections. Joining us in the studio to talk elections, ballots, and votes in Polk County is Supervisor of Elections, Lori Edwards.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
Well, we got the elections coming up. I know you guys are gearing up for that, for the 7 different communities. Just like you to talk a little bit about what's going on, what you have planned, any new stuff coming out this year that folks need to know about.
Sure. Well, April 7th is Municipal Election Day, and that's when all of the smaller cities in Polk County have an opportunity to elect their new city council or city commissioners, their mayors, or pass anything that might be amendments to their town or city charter. And it's really nice when they all kind of band together and have elections at the same time, because it brings a lot more attention to the cities. So the cities that actually have Election Day on April 7th are Frostproof and Bartow and Lake Hamilton and Lake Wales and Lake Alfred and Dundee and Davenport. So if you're a city resident in those cities, you'll have an opportunity to make your voice heard.
All right. Well, I know it seems like an odd time of year. When was it that they switched over? Because they used to have it during the normal election cycle, but then I think it was a few years ago, wasn't it?
Yes, it was a little bit over 10 years ago now. I think it was 2003. The cities got together and came up with Municipal Election Day at, frankly, our urging at the election office. And what they're seeing is these city elections, which can get lost in the shuffle when candidates for governor or president are spending millions, literally millions of dollars on advertising and grabbing up all the news stories. They find themselves on the back of the ballot, maybe on the 3rd or 4th page, or down on the 3rd or 4th page of the newspaper, and this way they get to get their own attention.
Well, when that happened, how's the turnout been? I know, I mean, in the non-presidential years, voter turnout, goes down considerably. How did that work? Are you seeing similar type trends, or how does that work in Polk County?
The turnout in city elections in Polk County is the same as turnout in city elections all over the state, probably all over the nation. I just don't have those numbers, and that is low. It's about 1 in 5 registered voters actually bother to cast a ballot when they have city elections. And I think part of that is people, of course everybody's busy, but I don't know if they realize how important their city government is. I mean, if their trash was picked up this week, it's their city government they should thank. And when they turned on their water this morning so they could take a shower, that's probably a city government function if you live in one of those cities. Not to mention that the water went away when you flushed, which we all kind of count on, don't we?
Yeah, we kind of like that every once in a while.
And then, of course, there's your recreation, that's, all your parks and things that cities provide.
And the economic development side as well. I mean, they play a big part in that.
I think
what's coming into your community.
Exactly. The zoning. Perfect example. Actually, how your community is defined, not just for you, but for your kids and maybe even your grandkids. Those decisions are all being made by City Council. So that's kind of my message today, is to remind people what an impact they can have on their immediate community. We're all seeing the news about what's going on all over the world and even in Washington, D.C., and I know I can't impact that very much, but you can impact your city government.
Well, even so, I mean, even with the smaller voter turnouts, now when you're still seeing that 1 in 5, or hopefully it's going to be more this year, that one vote is making much more of a difference and can really have an impact in your community and what you see. How is it that you guys are getting out this year? I know there's always a variety of different ways you guys can vote, or that you let folks vote. Would you talk about that a little bit?
I sure will. And there are 3 easy ways. And what I'd like to say is there's no excuse not to vote if you're eligible to vote in this upcoming election, because if you pick up the telephone and call us at 863-534-5888, we'll get a ballot in the mail to you within 24 hours. And if that's not to your liking, or you get the idea to do this after 5 o'clock at night, you go on our website, you send us an email, or you click vote by mail. by the next day, we will put a ballot in the mail to you, and it will be in your home, and you can vote, you know, in the comfort of your own home in your jammies if you want.
Yeah, that's the way I'd like to vote, really. But I still have a preference of getting out on election day and actually getting there and writing it in. I'm kind of old like that. But so, is there a deadline other than just election day for the mail-in?
For the mail-in, if you're going to call to have us mail, Florida law says you need to do it by a week ahead of time.
Okay.
So I think it's the 1st of April.
Okay.
Now, that doesn't rule out your options, but mainly after that, you should come by election headquarters if that's nearby, or probably go to your precinct.
Okay. Is there any type of proof that you need to provide for getting that early ballot? I know when you go to the actual precincts that you have to show your voter ID card and your identification, all that.
No, if you call up and you're either on the phone or on the web, we're going to need your date of birth and your name, and then we're going to verify that you're a registered voter, and we're going to verify your address. When you get that ballot, when you sign the envelope on the outside, which is a very important step, that's how we verify your identity. When that ballot comes back, we look at the signature and we check it against the last signature we have on file for you to make sure that someone else didn't get a hold of your ballot, that there was no fraud. And that your signature doesn't have to match perfectly, but we can tell if it's the same person or not.
Okay. Well, also, I know you've got, you can do walk-ins as well at your office, correct?
That's right. And that's just at election headquarters for this round of elections.
Okay, so here in Bartow.
Here in Bartow, 250 South Broadway.
All right, sounds good. Well, election day, I know you guys are busy counting the votes and totaling everything up. In the last few years, you guys have really come along in giving those, minute-by-minute results, it almost seems like. Can you talk a little bit about what you guys have done with technology and how that's going forward?
Well, sure. And technology, to be honest with you, Jeremy, is not going as fast as I would like to see it. Technology is growing faster in my home and your home, and maybe even other offices or industries than it is in ours. However, I like instead, I mean, we're keeping up. It's just, it's not an industry election.
We don't have hanging chads or pregnant chads, so we have made it past that step now.
We have. And that kind of leads to my point, which is, I don't know that this is a field that we need to be out front. We don't need to be experimental. We need to be safe and sound and predictable for our elections.
Well, for something that's so important and has such an impact.
That's not, and I certainly don't want Polk County to be that far on the cutting edge. I'll let somebody else go first, and once it's a proven technology, we could use some improvement. But what I credit instead of the technology is the hard-working election workers that we have here in Polk County that take it so serious and come back year in and year out. It's that kind of experience and commitment to their job and customer service and their willingness to do what it takes to make us a success really reflects our community, and I think that's why we have been fortunate.
Right now, we have the elections coming up. We have a number of different registered voters. You're looking at, what, roughly 20,000 or so registered voters for all those
cities combined.
Municipalities?
Yeah, that's probably about right.
25,000,
and
somewhere in there?
And about 5,000 of them have been sent absentee ballots already.
Okay.
I want to mention sample ballots are available too. If you call us, we'd be happy to mail you one, but they're on our website. And
so that's kind of what you can see ahead of time, is that it?
Yeah, so that you know what's going to be on the ballot for your city.
Okay.
You can see who's running. You also, some of the cities have amendments, where they're going to change things about the charter.
The charter.
And so basically, it looks just like a regular ballot, except for its sample.
Well, Lori, thank you so much, and looking forward to a good election this year.
My pleasure. Thanks, Jeremy. Good to be here.
Thank you. Make sure you exercise your right to vote in the upcoming municipal elections. Polls are open at 7 a.m. and close at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, April 7th. 7 different communities will be involved in these elections. Those cities include Bartow, Davenport, Dundee, Frostproof, Lake Hamilton, Lake Alfred, and Lake Wales. For polling locations, sample ballots, or for other information, you can visit Polk County Supervisor of Elections at polkelections.com or give them a call at 863-534-5888.